Doors opening. Frankfurt train making all stops. Doors are closing. Next stop Melbourne, a wheelchair accessible station. Melbourne Station. Next stop 63rd Street, a wheelchair accessible station for routes 21 and 31. 63rd Street Station. Next stop 60th Street, a wheelchair accessible station for routes 31 and 46. 60th Street Station. Next stop 56th Street, a wheelchair accessible station for routes 31 and G. 56th Street Station. Next stop 52nd Street, a wheelchair accessible station for routes 31 and 52. 52nd Saint Station. Next stop 46th Street, a wheelchair accessible station for routes 31 and 64. 46th Street Station. Next stop 40th Street for routes 30, 40, diverted trolley routes and Presbyterian Medical Center. 40th Street Station. Next stop 34th Street, exit for University City, Drexel University and the University of Pennsylvania. 34th Street Station. Next stop 30th Street, a wheelchair accessible station for Amtrak. 30th Street Station, SEPTA regional rail lines, and free interchange to trolley routes 10, 11, 13, 34 and 36. 30th Street Station. Next stop 15th Street, a wheelchair accessible station for SEPTA suburban station and regional rail lines, City Hall, Dilworth Park, and free interchange with the Broad Street line. 15th Street Station. Next stop 13th Street, a wheelchair accessible station for free interchange to trolley routes 10, 11, 13, 34, 36 and SEPTA customer service. 13th Street Station. Next stop 11th Street for Jefferson Station and regional rail lines, the Pennsylvania Convention Center and Reading Terminal Market. 11th Street Station. Next stop 8th Street, a wheelchair accessible station for the Broad Ridge Spur, the Patco high-speed line and the Fashion District. 8th Street Station. Next stop 5th Street, Independence Hall, a wheelchair accessible station for Independence National Historical Park. 5th Street Station, Independence Hall. Next stop 2nd Street, a wheelchair accessible station for Penn's Landing and Old City restaurants and shops. 2nd Street Station. Next stop Spring Garden for routes 5, 25, and 43 and Columbus Boulevard. Spring Garden Station. Next stop Girard, a wheelchair accessible station for routes 5, 15 and 25. Girard Station. Next stop Berks, a wheelchair accessible station for route 3. Berks Station. Next stop York Dauphin, a wheelchair accessible station for routes 3, 39 and 89. York Dauphin Station. Next stop Huntingdon, a wheelchair accessible station for routes 3 and 39 and Episcopal Hospital. Huntingdon Station. Next stop Somerset, a wheelchair accessible station for routes 3 and 54. Somerset Station. Next stop Allegheny, a wheelchair accessible station for routes 3, 60 and 89. Allegheny Station. Next stop Tioga, a wheelchair accessible station for routes 3 and 89. Tioga Station. Next stop Erie Torresdale, a wheelchair accessible station for routes 3 and 56. Erie Torresdale Station. Next stop Church, a wheelchair accessible station for routes 3 and 5. Church Station. Next stop Era Transportation Center, a wheelchair accessible station for routes 3, 5, 59, 75, 89, J and K. Aria Health Frankfurt Campus. Era Transportation Center. Next and last stop Frankfurt Transportation Center, a wheelchair accessible station for bus and trackless trolley routes serving northeast and northwest Philadelphia and Bucks County. Frankfurt Transportation Center. Last stop